Hello everyone, welcome to Makers Unleashed. I'm Paul, and today we have the absolute delight to have Meghan Cook with us, an author for a children's book called My Bedtime Song. Meghan, thank you for joining us here in Makers Unleashed, and we're so happy to be able to share your story with our viewers.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to be able to showcase my story and my journey with you guys and your viewers today.
What inspired you to write this book for children?
Well, my story, which is called My Bedtime Song, it actually started out as a lullaby that I wrote for my daughters many years ago. It was a song that happened to be whispered to me when my oldest was very young, and I've been singing it to them every night since. And I decided that this could make a really delightful children's book, so I decided to turn it into a children's story and showcase it to the world.
Can you tell us more about what's in the book and what kind of message you're trying to inspire to others that read the book?
Absolutely. Well, first, to showcase one of the most beautiful aspects of my story is, although I wrote it, it is my daughters that illustrated it. So at the ages of 6 and 10 years old, they did all the original watercolors for the book. My oldest did the illustrations, and then my youngest painted them. So it became a full family affair because my sister was the one that formatted this book. So it's full of love all the way through.
Well, they definitely draw better than I do, that's for sure.
Absolutely. One of the things that makes my book so great is that I consider it an inclusive children's lullaby book. What I mean by that is, in 2 parts of the story, it is highlighted here, so that way the reader can choose their carer role and feel included in the bedtime process, and make sure that every child feels confident and comfortable about their unique family makeup. So in this particular case, not necessarily your mom comes in to tuck you in. Your dad, grandpa, grandma, aunt, uncle, or friend come in to tuck you in, and he, she, or they sing your bedtime song.
Very unique.
Absolutely. It's that every family situation is completely different, whether it is due to family separation circumstances or due to LGBTQ plus communities, all of the like. Every child should feel confident about their unique family makeup. It is a beautiful way to interact with children when you're able to personalize it and have that interaction with them, especially before bedtime, to make it that much more of a beautiful experience.
I can just imagine, my kids are older now, but it would have been a great story to have at that time. So for a children's book, how do you specifically write for children? Like, what's your approach to being able to write a story for children? Like you said, you took that lullaby and you changed it into a story. What was your technique for doing that?
Well, I can't say I'm an expert by any means, except just having a love of literature since a really young age. But I do have a BA in psychology with a concentration in some children's psychology that I wanted to make sure that I implemented into the book. So for instance, the font was very specifically chosen to be an easy learning, easy read font for children. It's very precise on the lettering, making sure it's the proper shapes and phonetics for the early reader eye to engage with. I made sure it was a very large font for them to be able to read. The cadence of the rhythm of the language, the type of phonetics used is just very specialized to be an easy reader, easy learning book. On top of that, I wanted to make sure that the pages were sustainable. So it's not a board book by any means, but I do have a durable gloss page that is really perfect for transitioning. So it makes it a great addition to any young library. The images are very simple. The colors are very bright. So from ages 0 to 9 years old, because they're still into that early reading, working on their phonetics. Oh, and as you can see here, I'd mentioned the inclusive part. So I have a nice little page indicating that. And of course, because it is a lullaby, I have the sheet music here.
Right there.
And an activity for the children.
Beautiful. can certainly tell that you put a lot of time and effort in that production of that book. So that's
Thank
great.
you. It was a passion project that's kind of exploded a little bit more, even as it says right on the front, created with love by a mother and her daughters. So right there on the front, it shows you just how much love and time and effort has gone into it, that hopefully other families will be able to absorb and feel within themselves. The universe has been really good to me. I just feel every time that I've kind of reached out to someone or made a connection, it has been a beautiful collaboration. So I had seen that the CARP Literacy and Tutoring Center had posted about their summer literacy camps for children. And I told myself I wanted to be a part of that, even if it was just donating books to them. So I reached out to the owner, Sarah Reed, and I offered some books for donation. And after she reviewed the book, she noticed that it was a perfect fit for her literacy summer camps. So I will be doing a guest author visits every week at her summers camp, and every child attending her summers camp is going to be receiving a copy of my bedtime song.
That's a great interaction with the local community and getting to know you and the story.
And it's a beautiful way just to support our community and to encourage literacy, right, in our young readers in a beautiful, fun way. They'll be able to meet the author and also the children who illustrated it. That will be similar to their age, so it'll be a really beautiful experience.
Right, and that also brings into the fact that, it gives them hope that they might be inspired to write their own book and their own story, right? If they meet the person and they see that they're real people, not just some faraway author somewhere that wrote a book. So
absolutely, that's actually something that I like to incorporate in my programming. So I've kind of come full circle with everything. I even have pre and post programming options for my Meet the Author visits. So some really great bilingual engaging activities depending on the age range of the author visits that I'm doing, to be able to do just that, stimulate their mind in the form of being a young author, being creative, that anyone can write a story.
I'm overwhelmed with the how you approach that aspect of writing this book, not just I'm going to write a book and that's it. This is very involved, and you can see the work behind it.
It is. I love community. I love give back, which is why I've done most of my reach out to local community-run businesses in the Ottawa and greater area.
With meeting the authors and those kind of activities, before that, to make the book itself, what kind of challenges you might have had to publish it, to write it, to get it printed, and all of those aspects of creating a new book?
Yeah, that is a great question, because being a self-published author, especially nowadays, there are a few channels open to us that weren't open to us even just a few short years ago, when the idea came to me that, hey, maybe I should turn this lullaby I've been singing for a decade into a children's story for others to see. So you can always go the traditional, selling it, to a publisher. Nowadays, you can go directly onto Amazon and just upload a PDF, and it's called print on demand. So there's really, financial risk or risks whatsoever. You created something, and if someone decides to buy it, great. You can also purchase, a mass quantity of copies over from China, which isn't really realistic for, self-publishing authors such as myself that doesn't have, a pocketbook full of cash. And then there's the route that I decided to do, which is kind of a hybrid of them, is that I am hyper-local. I love supporting everything local, and one of those things was I needed to have my book printed locally here in Ottawa. So to have a beautiful product, but also supporting another company at the same time. So I ended up going with Elephant Print, which is a beautiful female-owned local print company. And in order for me to have the funds to even print locally, I decided to go the Kickstarter route. So Kickstarter, for those that don't know, it's a type of crowdfunding platform for artists and for projects. However, if I don't meet my full funding goal at the end of the term, I don't make any of it. So it was imperative that I get my creativity out there even before the final product was made, and hope that it would sell. So thankfully I was successful. I got the Kickstarter funds, and I have this beautiful book printed here.
So how did you get your name out there, like to get people to understand what you're trying to do, and like other than just putting it on Kickstarter?
Social media was one of the key elements, was making sure that I utilized Facebook, Instagram, and for the Kickstarter, just my big social network, you know, just trying to push it on friends and family and beg and ask for their support, you know, in advance, because I really didn't have a finished product. I had images and I could show them along the way, but then they got to take that creative journey with me from start to finish.
Okay, and do you have like a business background? Because it sounds almost like you had a plan in place, and how, like you said, you have to make sure you meet that goal of your Kickstarter amount.
Right.
So did you have a plan in place in that sense, or was it just?
Well, it's just, yeah, I mean, to try to make sure that I was successful, you know, just making sure that I was hitting some of my marketing goals, having really good packages that people wanted to support. For instance, I had a philanthropist package where if you donated a larger sum of money, not only did you get your signed copy, but I'd be donating books to local charities. So that was a great incentive to try to get some larger funds.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting curve to the to the aspect. Okay.
Yeah.
So the other part was about the eco-friendly. I think it was, you have like eco-friendly bags and stuff like that.
Right. So
yeah.
I love supporting, like I said, local. My book is currently being sold in 9 local stores across the city. So Ottawa Artisans being one of my favorite. There's 5 stores across the city. We have them at Place d'Orleans, Saint Laurent, Billings Bridge, Bayshore, and Tanger Outlet, and soon to be Rideau Centre, as well as Tag Along Toys, which is a beautifully locally owned toy store. Mill Street Books in Almont, as well as the Coles Bookstore, Billings Bridge. And stay tuned, because I'm going to be pounding the pavement, and you'll soon find me in lots of chapters, Indigo and Coles, across the city.
Wow. Okay.
So that is going to be exciting. But for those that can't go and purchase my book in store, and I get to ship my books around the country, around the world, I decided to go eco-friendly, because I have to give back in as many ways as I can. So I sourced out these beautiful green, eco-friendly compostable mailer bags that you can actually use twice. So I get to ship my bag to them, and the recipient can keep that bag for another mail out that they'd like, or when it ends up in the trash, at least we know it'll be eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly, biodegradable type thing. Yeah, great. That's a great idea. So is that still with the same printer? No, in the
no. So that I found just sourcing online through a local eco-friendly company.
Oh, interesting. So we'll just to say, we'll probably have all these links down below in the description. So if you're interested, if we can share that with you, and that give you some sort of help with having to do all that research, because Meghan has already done it for you.
I've done it. And supporting local is what we need to do. We need to keep everything within our grassroots and everything within our communities.
Excellent. Meghan, I see down here that you have some stickers or emblems. What does that stand for?
Absolutely. So I wanted to support Elephant Print first for being a great production company. So you'll see there their beautiful Elephant Print logo. Next to it, you will see it's the Ontario Made accreditation. This is something that I hold very proudly, because not only did I keep the creation local to Ottawa, but I kept the manufacturing within Ontario as well. So I support Ontario, I support local, and I've been recognized for that accomplishment. Then you'll see down to the bottom of it is the purple ribbon here. That stands for domestic violence. I myself am a survivor and an advocate for domestic violence, and part of the sales of my books go to charities that support victims of domestic violence. So I showcase that there.
So with it sounds like you're pretty busy right now with the undertaking of this current book, but do you have any future plans in regards to either with this book yet? You kind of touched on it already a little bit, but is there anything else with this book that you're planning in the near future? And then far future, is there any other books coming out as well?
Well, my creative juices are going, and I can't seem to slow down with the one book. Okay. I am a little bit behind, on my tasks and my to-do list, because unfortunately we can't buy more minutes in the day in Costco, right? So being a full-time single mom to 2 and working and managing the book, I'm a little behind. stay tuned for a website. So I will be having my Bedtime Song website coming up soon, which you'll be able to then access the book, as well as some of my other promotional items. I have little paper notebooks, I have bookmarks, stickers, window decals, the sheet music. Those will all be accessible. Also, I want to be able to have clickable instrumental music and vocals for the lullaby, so people will actually know what the tune sounds like and they can begin singing it.
Great. That's a great idea.
On top of that, I have in the works an activity book that you'll be able to purchase. As you can see in the back, I had already showcased one of the fun Connect the Dot activities, but I have so many more, including colorings and search finds and what's missing in between the pictures. And both the book and that activity book should be available on Amazon in the coming future.
Perfect. So be sure to check again the descriptions down below. We'll have all her social links, and if you have your website up, we'll have that down there as well. So be sure to check her out, Meghan Cook, author, business extraordinaire, to follow her for future books that are coming in, future projects that are coming around.
Yeah.
So
at this time, you can find me on Facebook primarily. So My Bedtime Song by Meghan Cook. So you can see what's going on there, any fun projects, and of course all the fun stories I have up there. If I can find more minutes in the day, hopefully there'll be a slew of projects to see with my name, and hopefully my daughter's name. I should indicate that it's written by Meghan Cook, but illustrated by Cadence and Hilaire Deschamps.
Oh, nice.
So they're the jewels of my heart, so I couldn't have done it without them.
With all your experience right now, this channel is trying to help others in the maker business or writing books or making stuff. What kind of advice can you give them in regards to starting and making their hobby of making into a business?
Well, first off, follow your dreams and literally do what makes you happy. My tagline, I say, is dream big dreams, because it doesn't matter if you're 6 and 10 like my daughters, or my age, or more advanced. Follow your dream, do the creative arts that inspires you. And there is a wealth of knowledge out there today, and everyone is willing to share it. So go out and ask questions. Find other groups like this, Makers Unleashed, Ottawa Artisans, Facebook groups. People are willing to share their creativity and the process on how they got there. So again, if anyone is in the self-published journey and they have questions, send me an email or a DM, and I'd be happy to, put them on their right path and get them on their way, because we can only all achieve our dreams when we have other people supporting us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Meghan, for joining us here at Makers Unleashed and sharing your story and your path to creating this marvelous book. Again, all the descriptions, links is down in the description in the video. Please subscribe to our channel as well, so that you don't miss any other makers like like Meghan here. And so anything you want to add to that?
Just thank you so much for this beautiful platform for myself and for other local artists to just be able to showcase to you guys and to everyone out there just how important it is to create the creative arts of all kinds alive, and to support community, support local. Everyone's so quick to click on Amazon and go to the big box stores, but go check out the local bookstores, the local toy stores, the local flea markets and crafter vendor markets. You would be surprised of the beautiful things and the talented people that you will find there.
Take that extra time, not just to click and go, get to meet the authors and meet the makers, and get to know them and understand what what the story behind what they're making. Right?
And come see me on Canada Day, right here at the Canada KRC Hill. I'll be proudly at the Canada Small Business Network booth representing local Canada artists. So July 1st, 1 to 4 p.m. I will be here, Canada KRC.